Hello, students. We ran out of time during third period. Uh, I honestly thought we still had some time. I wasn't really paying attention to the clock, but I'm just gonna go over the the last question that we went into, and then the last question in the reading, so you can hear it and you are aware of it. So let's go ahead and talk about the last question. And the last question is, what is the description that the bloque testa is having? So essentially, at the very end, he is telling people, to calm down, don't worry, you'll be fine. But in reality, he knows there's nothing he can do anymore. So there's a very complex idea of him, because at the beginning, he was very helpful to these Jewish people and before the selection. But after the selection, he knows that he can't do anything anymore, because if he tries to butt in, that is his life. That is his job. So at that point, there's nothing more that he can do. So the tone that he kind of creates afterwards is the tone of frightfulness. He knows that, the guilty conscience, that he cannot do anything for them anymore. So let's go ahead and listen to the last part of this of the section. So let's go. I'm going to go ahead and play that for you.
There's still a chance. Today they will do another selection, a decisive one. I said nothing. He felt time was running out. He was speaking rapidly. He wanted to tell me so many things. His speech became confused. His voice was choked. He knew that I had to leave in a few moments. He was going to remain alone. So alone. Here, take this knife, he said. I won't need it anymore. You may find it useful. Also, take this spoon. Don't sell it. Quickly. Go ahead. Take what I'm giving you. My inheritance. Don't talk like that, Father. I was on the verge of breaking into sobs. I don't want you to say such things. Keep the spoon and knife. You will need them as much as I. We'll see each other tonight after work. He looked at me with his tired eyes, veiled by despair. He insisted. I am asking you. Take it. Do as I ask you, my son. Time is running out. Do as your father asks you. Our capo shouted the order to march. The commando headed toward the camp gate. Left, right. I was biting my lips. My father had remained near the block, leaning against the wall. Then he began to run, to try to catch up with us. Perhaps he had forgotten to tell me something. But we were marching too fast. Left, right. We were at the gate. We were being counted. Around us, the din of military music. Then we were outside. All day, I plodded around like a sleepwalker. Tibby and Yossi would call out to me from time to time, trying to reassure me, as did the capo who had given me easier tasks that day. I felt sick at heart. How kindly they treated me. Like an orphan, I thought. Even now, my father is helping me. I myself didn't know whether I wanted the day to go by quickly or not. I was afraid of finding myself alone that evening. How good it would be to die right here. At last, we began the return journey. How I longed for an order to run. The military march, the gate, the camp. I ran toward Block 36. Were there still miracles on this earth? He was alive. He had passed the second selection. He had still proved his usefulness. I gave him back his knife and spoon.
Alrighty. So we just heard, we found out that his father was going onto the second selection. So he's trying to give Elie Wiesel, look at here, take this. This is gonna help you survive. And Elie Wiesel was like, don't talk like that. You will survive. And throughout the day, as he's working, you know, the the capo essentially said I was giving him less of a task because he knows what's going to happen, and his friends are basically trying to make him feel like nothing's going to happen. And at the end, we luckily find out that his dad survived the second selection. So that is at the end of the book. This is not the whole book. This is part of the book. So if you're interested in continuing reading, there is the book available. I know the libraries may not be open, but you could definitely pick up a copy online. All right, so the last question talks about parallel structure. And parallel structure, what it essentially is a repeated words or phrases that have the same grammatical structure. So I'm going to point it out to you because you might not know what parallel structure is. And he says right here, he felt time was running out. He was speaking rapidly. He wanted to tell me so many things. His speech became confused. His voice was choked. He knew that I had to leave in a few moments. He was going to remain alone, so alone. So the parallel structure, the words that are repeated is he felt, he was, he wanted, his, he. And the only part that you have to answer for, well, you have to say what part is parallel structure. And I just told you it's saying he felt, he was, that is the parallel structure. Now, the only part that you have to answer is the last question, and it talks more about the effect or the tone. So what kind of tone do you feel at this little section? And I'm going to read it to you, and hopefully you can pick it up. He felt time was running out. He was speaking rapidly. He wanted to tell me so many things. His speech became confused. His voice was choked. He knew that he only had a few moments. He was going to remain alone. So alone. So when you hear that, what kind of tone do you get? What feelings do you get? You know, think about it as if you're watching a movie. Something, you know, the dad is trying to give him something, trying to tell him so many things, but there's not enough time because he has to leave. What kind of tone or effect does that create? So go ahead and answer that. If you need additional help, I will definitely talk about it more on the class next week. But I wanted to make this video to kind of help you listen to the last part of the book so you could be caught up with the rest of the class and to be able to complete your homework this week. If there's any questions, feel free to email me or join the Zoom for office hours anytime. We'll see you later. Thank you all for participating. You are amazing.